Hi, I'm Jim Knotts, President and CEO of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial Fund. Welcome to today's virtual reading of the names. 2022 marks the 40th anniversary of the dedication of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial in Washington, D.C. As part of our commemoration, we'll host an in-person reading of the names at the wall from November 7th through 10th, 2022, when all 58,281 names on the wall will be read aloud. In the lead up to that event, we'll be reading names each day online while sharing the photos of these heroes. For our daily virtual reading, the names of the service members will be read by month and day of death between the years 1956 and 1975 in alphabetical order for the given day. We apologize in advance for any mispronunciations. Know that our readers are doing their best to honor these service members. We hope you'll listen and watch each day and share with others as we remember and honor those who gave their lives during the Vietnam War.
David Charles Ogg, Gilbert Ayla Jr., Thomas Joseph Barbie, Daniel Lewis Bem, Delmer George Booz, Raymond Lewis Bowen Jr., Mark Stephen Bundy, James Arthur Burton, Roger Lee Buss, Douglas Michael Caddy, Donald Richard Carlisle, George Ralph Castillo, Wayne Cecil Chitwood, James Leon Calwy, Oscar Cardova, Edward Jan Cox, Thomas Guy Curtis Jr., Bobby Lee Ditzfeld, Richard Anton Erickson, Antonio Alvarado Esquito, Theodore Alphonse Falk, John Robert Favor, Fernando Figueroa, Cecil Franklin Fincher Jr., Ronald Alfred Galante, Kenneth Ray Gay, Kenneth Virgil Goodman, Owen David Goodsell, James Thomas Gravely, David Clark Gregory, William A. Griffiths III, John Leslie Grimmett, Scott Craig Griswold, Gary C. Hall, Oliver Yates Harlison, Lawrence Neal Helber, Gary W. Hermanson, Damus Hernandez Falancio, Jimmy Andrew Herrera, William E. Hingston Jr., Thomas Wayne Hodge, Clayton Monroe Holland Jr., George Joseph Holly III, Ernest Irvin Hood, James K. Hurley, Milford Don Isaacson, Paul Nash Jackson, Arthur Russell Jansen, Paul Robert Jordan, Robert Wayne Kenny, Daniel Wilder Kent, Ferdinand J. Cornick Jr., John Aloysius Lambie Jr., Michael Allen Lederle, J. Barry Levinson, Stephen Lee Lindsay, Thomas Earl Littlepage, Peter Lewis Lovett, Harold Ivan Lloyd, Lloyd Irvin Luttrell, William Lunn Marlin Jr., Irvin Eugene Martin, Robert James McCarl, William W. Mlinkenden Jr.,
William Herbert McDonald, James Carthel McHenry, Calvin Edward Millam, Charles Wayne Miller, James Miller, Robert J. Miller, William Leslie Morgan, Robert Dennis Naraki, John Hall Neal Jr., Gary Lee Nordquist, Ernest Patrick Palcic, Francis Panetti, Randall Earl Perry, Albert Pitt, Gregory Francis Popowitz, Roderick Charles Portello, Richard Charles Porter, Ramiro Rios Ramirez, Robert Charles Riggs, John Oderdunk Rosler, Glenn Haskell Rollins, Juan Antonio Rosa, Brian A. Rye, Richard John Sadik, Dave Russell Scott, Gary David Schreibner, Robert Wayne Shelton, Max Coleman Simpson, Edmund Skunda, Robert Harold Smith, Barry Lee Smith, James Price Spencer, James Carl Spinuzzi, Doyle Robert Sprick, James Alexander Stark, Michael Eugene Stevens, Billy Lewis Strickland, Richard Arthur Sullivan, Raymond Walter Sullivan, John Olivio Tafoya, Paul Francis Treseguy, Nathaniel Thomas, Francis James Thompson, Gregory Charles Tucker, Thomas Edward Van Houten, Clark L. Walker, William Henry Walls, James Russell West, Bruce Wayne Westmoreland, Charles Mott White Sr., Donald Ray Yarborough.